think you can forgive him for what he did?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
You know, everybody deserves forgiveness, yeah. Whatever.
Oh my goodness. What's up, everybody? I'm Rell.
I'm Dio.
And we're back reacting to I Shouted for Help, but Nobody Helped Me. Asian Americans are under attack. Stop Asian hate, you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it says, there has been a significant surge in hate crimes against Asian and Pacific Islander Americans. A Filipino American named Noel describes waiting for a subway train in New York before being slashed across his face with a knife.
Oh my goodness.
So that's what we're about to get into.
That's terrible.
Guys. So we're doing this because we want to bring awareness to this situation. So let's get started. Do us a favor, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button.
All right, let's get into it.
All right.
I shouted for help, but nobody helped me. So I put my hands on my face. I saw the blood oozing.
Asian and Pacific Islander Americans are facing a surge of attacks in the U.S. The rise in violence has sparked fear within the AAPI community. We went to New York City, where police data shows there's been a 1,900% increase in hate crimes against Asians.
Oh my goodness.
An Asian piece of shit.
Racism against Asian Americans isn't new. So what is causing the rise of attacks?
Wow.
Do we know if all of these attacks are racially motivated?
We do not know that, but look, they are unprovoked.
Rallies have been held across the country to highlight the urgency of the issue. This is a story of how Asian Americans are finding solidarity in one another despite a wave of attacks.
所以我的心里很不高兴，我一想到他们，我的心里放下一点。
We will be invisible no more. We will speak up. We say that we are American too.
Come on. Absolutely.
Wow.
You're looking at the face of a Filipino American man who was slashed while standing on a train to work.
That was Wednesday, February 3rd. And about 8 o'clock, I was at the L train. I stood there quietly. A man came and I stood beside me. He started kicking my bag. He came towards me. I thought he's going to punch me. But when I didn't feel anything, I saw his hand with a boxer cutter. I shouted for help, but nobody helped me.
Noel is still unsure what motivated the attack. The police have not called it a hate crime.
I don't know if it is because of them. I really don't know if it's because I'm Asian. I have no idea.
So sad.
Wow.
So sad.
Wow.
That's so sad.
So sorry. But
Oh my goodness.
But it's not just like me. If it's just me, it's okay. But I also live with other people, no?
Noel considers himself lucky. He's mourning for the victims who have not survived, like this 84-year-old Thai man who died 2 days after an attack on his regular morning walk. Since the
Wow.
outbreak of COVID-19 in 2020, more than 2,800 self-reported accounts of violent and non-violent anti-Asian hate were recorded by a rights group.
Oh my goodness.
It's widely believed the spike in racist attacks is due to Donald
demonic.
Trump's rhetoric on coronavirus.
Kung flu.
But the reality is more complicated than that. It's difficult to pinpoint one root cause for the surge in attacks, but some say a combination of the rhetoric blaming Asians, particularly during the pandemic, along with the ease of recording and sharing these attacks, has contributed to making the issue more visible. We spoke to Representative Judy Chu, who says racism against Asians in the US goes far beyond Trump's presidency.
Of course, we have a very long history in this country, going all the way back to the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882.
It was the first legislation to bar immigration of an ethnic group. Yet Asian Americans have played an indispensable role in building the country.
the Chinese Americans were responsible for the transcontinental railroad from the West Coast to Utah. But now we see that Asian Americans of all backgrounds are essential workers. They are the ones that are on the front lines of the COVID-19 response.
To combat the recent crimes, New York City created an Asian hate crime task force, but many say more policing is not the answer. This is how a younger generation of Asian Americans are responding to their elderly who are in fear. Dozens of Asian restaurants and volunteers come together every Wednesday to gather thousands of food packages.
It actually started because my girlfriend and I were experiencing racism firsthand. People saying very nasty, profane language, telling us to go back to where we're from. At the same time, we were hearing about food insecurity and our elderly also being violently attacked the same time last year.
Despite the stereotype that Asian Americans are flourishing economically, Asians are experiencing record unemployment and hunger. In New York City, almost 1 out of 4 Asians were unemployed in 2020, and businesses in Chinatown have been suffering.
So we decided to counter all of that negativity and hatred with love. And how do we express love in the Asian culture? Many times is through food.
Wow.
Mrs. and Mr. Lee say they only go out once a month because they're scared. To them, these bags mean much more than a hearty meal.
我们两个好孤独的，所以我的心里很不高兴。我一想到他们，我的心里放下一点。
对他们志愿者要说什么，有什么心情吗？
他呢，每次来做我的心里辅导我有什么事情，好吗？
Wow.
什么我都跟他讲。
So what can the government do to protect those like Mr. and Mrs. Lee? President Biden signed a memorandum condemning anti-Asian hate, but Asian lawmakers say there is more to be done.
But we immediately asked for a meeting with the Department of Justice. We want to talk to look for ways to better prosecute such crimes. In addition, we are pushing the No Hate Act. The No Hate Act improves the hate crime reporting in the country.
As of now, lawmakers say it's rare these attacks are prosecuted as hate crimes, as it's difficult to prove racist intent. The suspect in Noel's case has been arrested and charged with assault.
Great.
Yet
Good.
Noel is moving onward, starting with acceptance.
Do you think you can forgive him for what he did?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody deserves forgiveness, yeah. Whatever
Oh my goodness.
hardships or grievances that he had in the past, he has to forgo it, and live a peaceful life, and he would be happy.
What does the scar mean to you right now?
To me, it's maybe it will give me something to strengthen me. That you go on living and not feel sorry about for yourself.
I'm sorry, that's a beautiful human being.
Absolutely.
To forgive that quickly, because everybody can't do that.
Yeah.
If something happens, like I don't know if I would be able to forgive that quick. Even that's what we're supposed to do. You know, as Christians, we're supposed to forgive each other. But wow,
this guy's heart is in the right place.
yeah, I applaud him.
It is.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
Some of the perpetrators and suspects in recent attacks against Asians have been identified as Black, which has sparked conversations about anti-Blackness among Asian Americans. Tensions between the two marginalized communities date back decades. Conflicts peaked in 1992 when around 2,000 Korean-owned businesses were burned and looted in the aftermath of the police beating of Rodney King. Tensions between the groups had been festering after a Korean shop owner fatally shot a 15-year-old Black girl in the same month.
What is contributing to this kind of tension is the false stereotype that Asian Americans are a model minority and that they are better off than others.
Yet leaders from the Black Lives Matter movement have been quick to decry the violence against Asian Americans.
We cannot give into hating each other. We cannot give into dividing each other. We need to be a unified front.
We have to rely on our neighbors and our friends to stand up for us when injustices are happening. As many Asians have come out to support, like, Black Lives Matter, like, that have historically fought together side by side for many of the civil rights that we enjoy.
Noel is joining the movement as well, sharing his story, hoping to prevent another tragedy.
I never knew that nobody would help me in this kind of instance. I hope that there should be an awareness.
Many Asian Americans say their trauma has been rendered invisible, their voices often unheard in the face of systemic racism. But times are changing.
This means we've had enough. We are a force to be reckoned with, and that we care, and that this is a movement we are invested in sustaining.
This march is about unity. I want to bring awareness to the fact that we are here for the same fight. The fight to end systemic racism.
Asian Americans just tend to get erased as a whole in the country. We still have a common enemy.
Racism is still a virus.
Justice for Asians! Justice for Asians!
Wow.
What struck me is when he said, I didn't realize that when this happened to me that no one would come to my rescue. He cried for help and nobody.
Exactly.
What does that say about our culture? And
exactly.
then they say, a lot of Black lives are contributing to most of these instances. Mm-hmm. But we have always been targeted all our lives as Black people. And so the saying, hurt people, right?
Right. And that lady was saying a lot of these cases have shot up since, I don't even want to say it, COVID. Since COVID. And that's just crazy. It shows you that a lot of people's hearts are growing colder. Colder ever since this pandemic.
If we could just learn what it means to love our neighbor. Mm-hmm. But that seems to be hard.
Yeah.
Wow. So our heart goes out to Noel and all the many people that have been affected by this. It was just so annoying to me to sit here and watch such tragedy happen to people. People walking down the street minding their own business and getting hit, knocked over and killed and things of that nature. It's utterly disgusting.
Yeah.
So,
and we love everyone.
We love everyone.
Both of us. So if you're Asian, if you're Hispanic, we love everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Biden, unfortunately, signing a document is not going to solve the situation. We have to go deeper. And there's some spiritual stuff at work that we
like that lady said. She said, there's more stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah, we have to go deeper than signing executive orders. That doesn't help anything. So we can start with prayer, and we can really target some things and really just being intentional and really looking out for each other, I think, and not being a bystander when something crazy is happening to somebody.
Speaking up.
Speaking up.
You got a voice. Everybody has a voice. Yep. Speak up. If you see something, speak up.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid.
Absolutely.
Speak up.
Great advice.
Flood the comments with Stop Asian Hate.
Please. Hashtag it, man.
Hashtag it in the comments.
Hashtag it, y'all.
And we will see you next time.
We'll see you on a video to come soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Stay encouraged.
God bless you guys. Peace.